Welcome to another episode of Unique Pathways presented by H3 Sports. I am, as always, your host, Ben Rekosh, and today we welcome onto the show a wonderful guest, and that is Yoon Chae, who is a sophomore two-way player at Amherst College up in Massachusetts. Yoon has been a friend of H3 Sports for a couple of years now, since he was at Cape Henry Collegiate School, but he's also lived in South Korea and Toronto. So he's had a super interesting life, and it was a great time getting to know him. So we appreciate everybody for tuning into this episode and hope you enjoy our conversation with Yoon Chae.
Unique Pathways is sponsored by Piedmont Realty Holdings, building better together. Bellaterra Landscaping and Hardscaping Services. ECS Prosthetics, we come to you. Jeff Burton Consulting, charting your path to a successful outcome. Major League Mindset, results on and off the field. Blue Sky Property Management, own your experience. BSN Sports, the heart of the game.
We now welcome onto the show a very special guest, and that is Yoon Chae, who is a sophomore with Amherst College baseball. Yoon, really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today. Really talented young man and really smart young man as well. So hope you're having a good day, and I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to get into your story a little bit because you have kind of an interesting story in that you've lived in every sector of the world, but baseball has been a key part of it, if I'm not mistaken. So you were born and raised in South Korea, moved to Toronto at about age 9, and then you moved to Virginia Beach before going to Amherst College. I want to start with South Korea. What was your life like growing up there? How much of a part of your life was baseball, and just generally, what was your family like?
Sure. So I was born in '05, and pretty much as soon as I could walk, I picked up a baseball because my dad was a huge fan of baseball. So, I would play catch with him, hit like softballs, and it started from there. And so I played baseball all throughout my youth. And then I first started playing on like a real organizational team in third grade. So I played a year of baseball in third grade, and after that we decided to move to Canada. Yeah.
Baseball is obviously pretty big in South Korea, and it's gotten even bigger in like the last 5 or 10 years. How were you able to see that growth even from a young age when you were there?
Yeah, so I see now that there are shows and just the fandom of baseballs keep on growing, which I think is great. And practices and like baseball practices in Korea can be really, really intense. And I see a lot of people actually like move away from that because of that. But it's really nice to see that it's growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely, we're an influx of South Korean baseball players in the MLB right now. We can talk about that a little bit later, but you have kind of a couple guys that you still keep an eye on, maybe even a few that you knew back then, and just kind of what it's like seeing people of South Korean heritage make it to the big league.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think they're representing South Korea really well. People like Hyunjin Ryu had a lot of success. Shin-Soo Choo had also a lot of success. And right now, Ha-Seong Kim, although he's injured and don't really know where he's going to go, but he's had a lot of success too. And Ha-Seong Kim actually just signed with the Dodgers as well. So I think it's amazing to see South Korean baseball players really make it.
And even though you were only in South Korea until age 9, which you can probably barely remember, how do you think those experiences kind of shape your lifestyle today, both in Virginia, in Toronto, and now at college?
Yeah, so a big thing they teach in Korea is discipline and work ethic. And I think that has carried on throughout my life, whether it be in athletics or academics. I think it's a huge part Um, yeah,
That's awesome. And I want to get into moving to Toronto a little bit. It's not easy for anyone, but especially someone at a young age, and being a part of your family. Toronto has also gotten bigger in baseball. Um, but how did that move kind of change the way that you saw the world? And take me through a little bit about the experience that you had moving across the world.
yeah, of course. So it was a big change. I'm not really sure if I was really like against or for it. I think I just kind of went with the flow. But um, so basically in Korea, you either have to go completely in one direction, whether it be in athletics. For example, like when I was in third grade, you would have a team either in Little League or a school team. And school would end around 3, and then practices will begin like 3:34. You practice for a couple hours, and then you go have dinner as a team, and then you come back and practice a little more, and it'll probably end around 9 or so. And that was 6 days a week. So and that's an elementary school. So I expect practices get tougher as you go on. But when you go home, it's like 10 o'clock, and you have to do homework and all that, and it's just not enough time to do all that. So you either sway one way, and that was completely different when I came across the sea to North America. Um, that was the reason why my parents really decided to give me the opportunity to chase after athletics and academics. And I think I was very fortunate to have that opportunity.
And so you're saying that mostly in Korea, you were sort of cornered into an early age to taking either athletics or academics. And you didn't really want to do that. What was your family saying in response to that?
Um, I really liked like reading and all that when I was young, but I also really liked baseball. So my parents were very academic too. So they realized how tough it is to, like make it to the league. Like percentages that is really low. So they always wanted me to have a backup plan and give me that opportunity to chase after both academics and athletics.
So as you grew in Toronto, you eventually went to St. Michael's College School. You excelled in mathematics, but you also played baseball and volleyball still. Um, did mathematics kind of click for you at such a young age, and just the transition to more of a balance in Toronto that you had in life versus how it was um, sort of when you were in South Korea? How different was that for you?
From what I remember, even though I was really young in South Korea, I think I did pretty well in school, and that probably just came from like the work ethic I said. Um, I think that just carried over to Toronto and just working hard. I don't think I'm necessarily gifted in math. Like I see at Amherst now, people in my math class are really smart. But I don't know. I think I just listened in class and did homework and yeah, it just kind of went well.
And I mentioned that you played volleyball as well. Um, I assume that wasn't something that was available to you in South Korea. So when did you discover that? And even nowadays, we'll talk about it in a little bit. You still play volleyball a lot. Um, so what was
Um,
the second sport for
yeah. So growing up, like before baseball, I played baseball and soccer in Korea, and volleyball I kind of picked up. I think it started around 5th grade. And I think that was a huge, I think it's a huge opportunity um, in the Western world that you get to play multiple sports while also pursuing your main sport. And I think it's actually really beneficial for your main sport as well. And like I play club volleyball at school now, but um, yeah, I played all kind of sports growing up. Like I played hockey, I played basketball, I swam, and yeah, I think it's great to play multiple sports at a time. Yeah.
How do you think some of the volleyball skills kind of translate to helping you on the baseball diamond and vice versa? in your everyday life?
Um, like baseball, volleyball is a team sport, so there's also a team aspect in there. But also, in terms of like athletic ability, I think it's really good. It's good. It's good for agility, I would say, and like jumping. It kind of gets you more explosive, so that's good for baseball as well.
And Toronto is also one of the most up and coming cities in the entire world, let alone North America. What was kind of your experience with that city? Really cool. Kind of the general public is being put on to what that city has to offer.
Yeah, so it's become a really diverse city. So you get to experience a lot of different cultures from around the world, and that was really nice. Um, I mean, the people are really nice as well. I think that's a pretty typical stereotype with Canadians, but yeah, they're really nice as well.
And then in 2020, you made the decision to move to Virginia to attend Cape Henry Collegiate School. I want to ask you real quickly something we talked about on the show a lot is that everybody experienced the pandemic, but we all experienced it differently. Um, so I want to know how the pandemic 2020 influenced your decision and your training in general going forward.
Yeah, so it was a big change. I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm older, but change from Canada to America felt like bigger for me than Korea to Canada. Um, in Toronto, at least, the lockdown was very enforced. For example, like my buddy was playing catch at a park and he got fined. So everything was pretty much locked down. It was pretty much impossible to play baseball. Um, like especially for me because I lived in a condominium, so I didn't have like a backyard like someone would living at a house. So it was a little tougher for me. So I had to find ways to work out and stuff.
Um, did you make the decision to leave Canada to Virginia the months following the pandemic, or when and how did that decision happen?
I don't really recall the exact timeline, but I think it it was something that we were thinking about. And during the pandemic, when everything was locked down, and it was really tough to play baseball, I think uh, my parents wanted to give me the opportunity, and I got to move to Virginia and I actually stayed at a friend's house for a year because of visa issues. But so it was just me going over, and then my family came a year later, and then I moved out to live with my family. So it was a really big change.
Tell me a little bit about what playing baseball in Toronto was like, because you were obviously still not quite in high school yet, but you knew that you had some potential to make it at a higher level. Um, how influential was that in kind of making this decision to go to Virginia Beach and go to Cape Henry and sort of elevate your game to maximize your potential to possibly play at the collegiate level?
Yeah, so I found some success in baseball when I was younger. Um, we used to play baseball tournaments in America because I mean the baseball population in Canada is much lower than America, and the competition is much lower. Not trying to undermine any great talent that comes out of Canada, like the Nailers, but um, yeah. So the family that I stayed at, we actually met in Cooperstown back in 12U, and we became family friends. I used to guest play for his team in America and stuff. So small world, and it kind of worked out at the end, I guess.
That's really cool. And so I assume that you heard of this program in Virginia through that family, and that's where you kind of made the educated decision to take this next step.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I guess played, and it was a great family. and yeah, it all worked out.
Take me through what a daily schedule was like for you at Cape Henry Collegiate, because you obviously live very close to the school. Academics were part of your life, but you were also there in large part to train for baseball. So how much of a balance was there for you?
When I was living with my friend's family, we used to go to the morning workouts before school, and then we would go to school, and there would be either practice after school, whether it be baseball or if it was volleyball season, I would play volleyball. And then after that, we would come home for dinner and maybe go to practice more or do something else. And living really close to school was a great thing because when I used to live with my buddy, we used to bike to school. And when I lived with my family, I used to walk to school. So I think that was great.
Those seemingly three practices a day for almost every day of the year. How much do you think that just that level of consistently kind of helped you build your game to where you were to what you became?
Um, I would say baseball is really tough because you don't always find success. It's not linear with practice per se. So I think consistency and just trusting yourself to improve every day, I think, is huge, especially in baseball.
And then just as Virginia Beach as a town, it's a really cool place. What were some of your favorite parts of living there? Because obviously it was in the pandemic that you moved there, and then you basically had to spend most of your time with your friends and your close family. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, compared to Toronto, I really like how it was more, uh, I guess, loose in terms of enforcement. I guess it's because I lived in a city and Virginia Beach is not really a big city, so I think that helped a little bit. But um, no, I mean, the people at the school were really nice, and it helped me like settle in and create memories and stuff. It was amazing.
Then when you chose to attend and play baseball at Amherst, kind of what was the process of picking that for you, and um, how did you ultimately end up choosing Amherst College?
Yeah, so my family and I always wanted to go to a high academic institution while playing baseball, and um, a couple of schools didn't work out, and I was pretty late in the process. And I went to a camp, and their pitching coach saw me and sent me an email, and it kind of worked. It really worked out really well. And Amherst is a really great institution, and I'm very fortunate to play baseball there as well.
Who else was in the mix for you during that process, and was it frustrating to not kind of get the results that you would hope for?
Yeah, earlier in the process, like my junior year, a couple of schools like William and Mary were in the process, but didn't
Hmm.
work out. And at the end, schools like Grinnell, Middlebury, those
Okay.
schools were in the mix as well. And ultimately, I chose Amherst College.
Um, and that's got to be sort of a rewarding decision for you. Was Amherst always something that was on your radar? Because obviously academics were really high, and Amherst has that being one of the highest institutions in the world. Um, but it's kind of it all kind of worked out in the end for you being fit with academics and being a fit with baseball.
Yeah, so Amherst College wasn't really on my radar. I wasn't really aware of Amherst College because it's not really well known. It's a small liberal arts college in Massachusetts, so not a lot of people know about it. But when
Mhm.
they sent me that email and I researched about the school a little bit, I realized how much of a great opportunity it was.
And then upon choosing Amherst, you were obviously a talented pitcher for the baseball team, but you also excel in class and have other extracurriculars, such as the investment club, club volleyball, a couple other things. Do you have a trick to balance it all, just between your mental health, your physical health, and being an overall student athlete? Um, and keeping your life in check?
Yeah, so I think time management is key, especially at a rigorous institution like Amherst. Um, I mean, we don't have as many games or practices as D1 colleges do, but it still takes up time, and balancing that is, I think, is really important. I mean, recently I haven't really been able to go to like club volleyball because I just didn't have time,
Okay.
but just like balancing everything was, I think, is really important.
You kind of alluded to something I wanted to touch on next, and that's the unique opportunity that presents itself by being at a Division III institution. It doesn't have a lot of the same necessarily time commitment in terms of extra things beyond baseball that a Division I institution has. What do you see are some of the pros and cons of being a Division I or Division III athlete, excuse me, through the first couple of years?
Um, yeah, I think it's being able to um, really take time to pursue both academics and athletics. Like I said, the time commitment on to baseball and D1 level is really a lot. Like they have around 55 regular season games, and just that just takes up a ton of time. So the Division III baseball competition was actually better than I thought coming in, and people do actually like people from my conference has signed. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
last year our catcher signed with the Washington Nationals, so it's like it's possible to go to the league, but it's also like catching two birds with one stone, like chasing after academics and athletics.
It seems like most people that play at the Division III level really do it because they really love it. Is that accurate?
I would say so, yeah, because I think like it's really hard, especially at Amherst, to manage your time because of how much work you have. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's only possible if you have the love for baseball.
For a lot of high schoolers or even middle schoolers these days, the end goal is always get a scholarship offer by a Division I institution. What would you say to some of those people who may not, meet those exact dreams, but still have great opportunities at Division III schools? Um, what are some of the benefits to kind of keep their head up and keep them able to be enjoying what they do every day?
Yeah, so I see a lot of people these days that commit to D1 actually transfer out. There's a lot of my teammates that have done that. And even at Division III levels, people at my conference transfer out to D1,
Uh huh.
like UConn, Boston College.
Right.
And a pitcher that I played with over the summer, he went to Hamilton College, which is a conference. Um, it's just in the same conference as Amherst, and he just signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. So I
Okay,
think it's
cool.
really possible to go pro, especially if you do well in summer. And I think it's a great opportunity, whether it's D3 or D1, that you get to play collegiate baseball. And I think it's important that wherever you go, you get playing time. I mean, that's what gets you seen. So
That's right. Before moving on to the specifics of your baseball season, we've talked a lot about your smarts in the classroom. You have a double major in mathematics and economics. Why did you pick those two subjects specifically?
I was always interested in economics, like the way the market moves and all that. And mathematics, people at Amherst do a lot of double majors because it's pretty easy to double major. Um, because
Mm-hmm.
as a liberal arts college, we have the open curriculum where you can choose your major at the end of your sophomore year. So you get to try out a lot of classes and take a lot of classes on different subjects. And people do it a lot with math because math is pretty easy to major at Amherst. And math, I always enjoyed math as well, and it kind of works well with econ with numbers and stuff. So I decided to major in math and econ.
Have you kind of found a way yet to integrate your interest in economics with your love for baseball?
Um, no, not yet. I should probably look into that.
Yeah, that's just something personally interesting to me. I really enjoy the movie Moneyball.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's a
don't know
great
if you've
movie.
you've seen it or read it, but I want to talk about your freshman season at Amherst last year. Very productive, I would say. 21.1 innings pitched, 22 strikeouts, 12 walks, only 13 earned runs, 5 wins, no losses, and a 4.2 ERA. You also spent a little bit of time in the field. So just talk a little bit about what the adjustment was like playing at the high school level versus when you came to the collegiate level.
Um, yeah, so uh, I would say I got really lucky. I was given the opportunity early in the year, and I performed well. And at the end and during the playoffs, it kind of fell apart a little bit. But um, in high school, I was mainly a shortstop, second baseman, and I pitched once in a while, but maybe to close a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into college as a two-way, but there were two all conference middle infielders that were ahead of me. So I played a little bit of the field, but I was mainly a pitcher last year. And um, it was different because I was mainly a fielder, like a hitter in high school. But I was mainly
Right.
a pitcher in college. I don't know how it'll be this year. Hopefully, I get a little more time in the field. But yeah, that was a little adjustment there.
Just on the mental side of things, how were you able to manage the expectations that were on you coming in of suddenly not being at a position you had been at before, and then just about the ebbs and flows of what it's like to be a freshman playing collegiate baseball?
Um, yeah, I think I just thought about how I could contribute to the team. Um, I was in the bullpen a lot, and I mean it was different because I would always kind of like come in from the field to the mound. But I guess it was better being able to warm up more. But yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. But there were a lot of good mentors on the field and really good seniors and juniors on the team, so they gave me a lot of good advice, and it was really
How do
good.
you change your training regiment, um, keeping your fielding and your hitting skills still at the shape they should be in, while necessarily focusing on pitching, because that's what you're going to be asked to do in the game?
Yeah, so I had to sacrifice. I actually had to sacrifice a lot on practicing hitting and fielding because I would like warm up with the pitchers and do pitching drills and all that instead of taking reps in the infield. And that did kind of result in making some errors, but this year I'll try to do a better job and yeah, practicing both fielding and then hitting and pitching.
I want to talk about your summer of 2024 also. You had a very busy summer playing in both the NECBL and attending Harvard Business School online. You played for the Syracuse Spartans and the Vermont Mountaineers, who ended up winning the Governor's Cup, which you got the win in the final game of. And then you also attended Harvard Business School, learning some of the fundamentals of economics. So, what was each of those experiences like for you, and how did you sort of combine them to have a successful summer?
Yeah, so first I attended NYCBL in Syracuse, Syracuse Spartans. I spent most of my summer there. It was around 2 months long, and it was really good because I got a lot of ABs and got a lot of time on the field while also getting some innings. And that was what I needed because I didn't get it. I only got like 4 ABs during the season, so it was really nice to get those ABs. And we had a lot of off time. Because the games will be at night and stuff. So
Right.
I did a financial accounting course for the Harvard Business School online, and I think it's just kind of using your time wisely to get better every day. And with 2 weeks left in the summer, I went to the NYCPL to play for the Vermont Mountaineers, and I mean NECPL. And the competition there was really tough. everyone was pretty much D1, and some were draft prospects, and some people got signed as well. And I think it was a great opportunity to see what really good competition is like.
Besides getting more game reps, both as a pitcher and a hitter, what do you see as some of the benefits of playing summer baseball? Whether it be meeting some of your teammates that play at rival schools, or like you said, seeing what higher level competition is like, or just generally building stronger baseball camaraderie with, in different places around the country.
Yeah, I think it's that you make lasting members with new teammates that you make. Um, I made really good friends with a couple of the guys from Pomona College down in California, and some other guys in Salve, and I think was amazing that you get to make connections and friends that you'll have for the rest of your life.
Even though you were only in Vermont for a couple of weeks, your team ended up winning the Governor's Cup. What was that game like for you, and especially being on the mound for a big one like that?
Yeah, so I came in, I think like fourth inning, fifth inning ish, and it was tough. I was really nervous, and luckily I hit my spots, and it worked out. So it was really good facing higher competition, facing really good hitters. Where if you miss a little bit, they bang it. So it was really nice.
That's awesome. And then getting back to 2025 in Amherst, you're still involved with the investment club and club volleyball on top of all of your classes, and being a baseball player. So how do you think that sort of this second year, you've seen a growth in yourself and a difference in the balance versus your first year?
Yeah, I would say this semester was much busier than my first semester. I attended a lot of info sessions, career fairs, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got better at managing my time, like doing my homework earlier, not procrastinating as much. So I think that was a good part on this semester.
And then on the baseball side, we'll start with personal goals. Do you have any personal goals as you look to continue that hot pitching start that you had last year, but also getting the batter's box and in the field a little bit more?
Yeah, I would say I was always more of a fan in playing the infield and hitting than pitching. Although I do love pitching as well. And I really hope that this year I'll get more time in the field. Um, hopefully earn a starting spot on the infield. But we'll see how it goes. And until then, I'll try my best.
And then as a team, what do you kind of hope that you're able to contribute to a winning culture?
Yeah, so our goal has always been to win the NESCAC, which is our conference. And we did that back in 2021, but we hope to continue that winning streak and hopefully get back there.
Well, you've got some new fans in myself and everyone that is watching this and listening to this show. A couple more questions for you. I want to know a little bit how you think your experiences around the world and just your different life perspectives are able to be used to your advantage, no matter if it's in baseball or finance or anything else.
Yeah, so being in different cultures, I think, allowed me to adapt to different cultures and different places quicker.
Okay.
Especially being away from family for a year, I think that was really big on being independent and being at a new place. And the adaptability really helped me in college, in new countries, and hopefully it'll help me out in the future as well.
Where do you see yourself if you look in 5 years and 10 years from now? Do you see yourself hopefully still playing baseball, or whether it's in some sort of economics job? How do you hope to use where you're at now to guide where you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, I want to play baseball as much as possible, as for as long as possible, but I know that's really tough. And I'm also interested in fields like management consulting. So maybe I'll be there. Maybe I'll be at really big companies like Bain. Who'll know? Hopefully it works out.
All right, Ewan, we got a couple of rapid fire questions for you here before we let you go about your day. First one for you before you're too tuckered out. What is the favorite baseball stadium that you've ever played in?
Cooperstown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You said you played in that when you were in 12U. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. It was a great tournament. Great, really, really, really good experience.
That's got to be a really fun experience. What's the reason behind the number you wear on your jersey?
Um, so I wore what did I wear? I wore three in high school, and I wear three right now. And I was kind of given that number.
Okay.
To be honest, so I kind of and somehow it worked out in both high school and college. They were both given to me, and yeah, it worked out. So that's my number
That's
now, I guess.
that's awesome. You've talked a lot about some of the great things about each of the places you've lived in your life. So between South Korea, Ontario, Canada, Virginia Beach, and now Amherst, Massachusetts, what is the worst thing about each of those places?
Um, South Korea, I think. South Korea is a really small country with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people in it, and it could feel a little tight, a little compact, and people are busy. And um, I think that I
That
guess would
makes
be the
sense.
worst part. Yeah,
That makes
and
sense.
then Toronto, it's just too cold. The winter is like 6 months out of the year,
How cold?
and
What was the coldest day that you remember there?
um, I don't really know the exact temperature, but I remember going to school with like a foot of snow and just like
Oh my
stepping over all
goodness.
the snow. I mean, here you get you get some 2 inches of snow in case school's canceled, but
Right.
they do it differently there for sure.
Um, and how about Virginia Beach and Amherst so far?
Um, Virginia Beach. I guess I'm used to living in the city, and there's not really much to do in Virginia. I know
Right.
there is the beach right next to me, but
Did you ever get
yeah,
into surfing or anything like that?
no, a lot of my friends do, but I never got into surfing. I feel like I'm really bad with like where my feet are stuck going sideways, like snowboarding and like skateboarding and stuff. I'm really bad at it. So
Okay. Well, and then Amherst, you've only been there for about a year and a half. What's something that you don't really like about the place?
again, like Toronto, it's really cold and it's not ideal baseball weather. So I guess that's the worst part.
That's fair. What's your go-to gas station snack and drink combo?
Um, I don't really eat at gas stations, but
Or just
at
your favorite
Wawa,
sort of cheat day meal, I guess.
um, at Wawa, there's a pulled pork mac and cheese. Um,
Uh-huh.
with like jalapeno and pickles, and it's really good.
Oh
I would
yeah,
say
that's
that's my
awesome.
favorite.
What do you get to drink there? Just a soda or a Gatorade or what?
Um, I don't really get anything to drink, to be honest.
That's fair. Who was your favorite athlete growing up?
My favorite athlete growing up was um, Justin Turner.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
little odd. I don't really see people picking Justin Turner as their favorite baseball player,
were
but
you a Dodgers fan growing up?
yeah, when Hyunjin Ryu played on the Dodgers back in when he first started in 2013, 14, that was
Okay.
the only channel they broadcasted, team they broadcasted in Korea. So I kind of grew up
Oh wow.
watching that Dodgers, and then when I moved to Toronto, I also became a fan of Blue Jays. So,
Okay. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I had a similar question for school, but if you're in an alley, like maybe like a bathroom stall where only one duck can enter at a
Uh-huh.
time, I think 100 horses. I think I could take it.
You'd rather the quantity of the big ones than the quality of a small one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then who is the actor, if they made a movie about your life or about Amherst College or, any number of things in the future, who is the actor that you'd want to see play yourself?
Mm, um, I don't know, maybe like Jackie Chan or something.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so we'll end it with this. This is the question that we ask every single person that comes on the show. It can be about baseball, it can be about life, time management, finance, school, whatever you want. What is one great piece of advice that someone has given you and you would like to share with the world?
Um, I would say uh, my pitching coach gave me this in college. I think it's live in the present, um, meaning don't think too hard on the mistakes you made in the past. Obviously, learn from them, but live in the present and think about how you can make next step better.
I really like that. That's a great piece of advice, and it can be applied to any sort of thing in life, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Yoon, I really appreciate you taking the time with me today. Enjoyed getting to know you a little bit and learning more about your life and your experience. And we wish you the best of luck in the future, and hope you have a great season at Amherst.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that was my conversation with the one and only Yoon Chae, a sophomore with Amherst baseball, a pitcher and an infielder. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. And as always, please like, subscribe, follow, rate, review, and do all of those good things on your podcast platforms and YouTube. Stay tuned for more great episodes in the future, and we appreciate you watching or listening to Unique Pathways presented by Ace 3 Sports. I am your host, Ben Rekosh. See you next time.
Unique Pathways is sponsored by Piedmont Realty Holdings, building better together. Bellaterra Landscaping and Hardscaping Services. ECS Prosthetics, we come to you. Jeff Burton Consulting, charting your path to a successful outcome. Major League Mindset, results on and off the field. Blue Sky Property Management, own your experience. BSN Sports, the heart of the game.